Hello, hello. I hope you all are doing well and being safe out there. My name is Caitlin Rose. I'm a self-taught artist, and today we are doing this little oil painting demo by Andrew Cadima. I will show some images of his work. He ended up going to StudioSlew and did some demos there, and they recorded those demos and put them up on the website. So on there, it's $30 currently. I don't know if they're gonna go up in price or anything, but I love his work and I was really intrigued and wanted to know exactly how he painted. The paints that we are using are yellow and black. I think he did cadmium yellow and ivory black, but I only had lamp black. I don't know what the difference between the blacks are, but yeah, this definitely was not this is not a beginner's painting demo. You have to have the understanding of the fundamentals, like knowing how to sketch a portrait, understanding the values, knowing the planes of the face, all that stuff. And he definitely does not talk about how to paint the face or how to draw the face and proportions or anything. You just kind of already need to know that. So this is not a beginner course, but if you are starting out oil painting, I highly recommend the Painting Coach. That's where I did my very first oil painting. So when doing this, I definitely wanted to do a new approach to painting to see if I like this type of method. One, using a printed out reference. I normally look at my references on the computer or on my iPad, but I wanted to try printing it out because I've seen different ateliers, like Atelier, I think that's how you say it, Atelier. Oh, sorry about the lighting. I was really struggling to adjust the contrast and like the ISO or the exposure. Pretty much the paintings that I'm doing on here, it's like really dark, so it was hard to like adjust and figure out the best lighting while I was painting this and seeing if the camera would pick it up. But anyway, I apologize in advance. There's gonna be some really bright scenes, so just bear with me, okay? But yeah, I've seen other like more old school style painters use printed out references for, studies and stuff. But I don't know if I like this method, mainly because it really depends on the printer that you have. So if you have a really shit printer, the reference is just not going to look as good. And if you don't have the right type of printer, sometimes it might come out differently than what the image looks like on a computer. Because my printer is EcoTank. So it has CMYK. So there's a little bit of some like magenta coloring in the reference photo that I printed out. So it wasn't like as, I don't know, it just didn't look as rich as the image on the screen did. So I don't know if I would use this method again. That's just me personally. Another thing that I was trying was this easel that I recently bought. It was my first time using it. And it's super cute. I'm scared to mess it up because it was pretty expensive. But I found an artist recently on YouTube, and he uses, what is it called? Like seal wrap on like the little palette that's at the bottom, so that when he's done painting, he can just peel off the little plastic seal thing and then just discard it, and then he'll still have like a nice clean palette. And I love the artist's aesthetic, but I hate how dirty and disgusting it looks sometimes with like the dried up paint everywhere. That's my personal ick with oil painting. I love the look of it, but goddamn is it messy. And another new way that I was trying to paint was exactly how he painted. He does not use a sketch beforehand. So he starts from like the center and then out. So with this painting, we started out with the sketch of the eyes, and then kind of branched out into the darker areas of the face, and then kind of like added on the color in between, like the midtones all the way up to like the highlights. So it was definitely interesting to paint this way. I do not like it. I'm not as confident in sketching with a brush and paint, but I am more confident in pencil and pen. So I don't think I'm gonna be the type of painter that can start from the details outward. I've seen a lot of oil painters and even acrylic painters start from like the eye and then like really flesh out all the details and the rendering and stuff in one section. I don't think I could be that type of painter. I like to look at the big overall shapes first and then kind of hone in on the details. During the demo, like watching the video, I noticed that I was looking more at the way that Andrew was painting and not necessarily focusing on the reference itself and what I was seeing in the reference. On this day, I wanted to mainly focus on the reference and how I would approach it. So I did a basic sketch just to have an idea of where exactly I want to place, the eyes. And towards the end, I will show a side-by-side comparison of both paintings. But yeah, the main thing that I took away from this was, which I thought was really interesting, was how he did the whites of the eyes and the teeth. Because overall, at the end of the day, this is just values. Understanding that the whites of the eyes are a little bit lighter than the light side of his face, or just understanding, like, depending on like the lighting scenario in the reference, like that light side of his face could be lighter than the whites of his eyes, or the whites of his eyes could be lighter than the light side of his face. So just tweaking and adjusting and rendering. I thought the way that he painted those values, and especially like the iris, he blacks out like the shape of the eye, like iris in general, with just black, and then he adds like the lighter shades of like the quote-unquote color of the eyes on top of that like black iris shape. So that was really cool to learn. But overall, I do think it's a pretty cheap, fun little painting exercise if you are kind of at the skill level as I am, which is not that very high, but you do have the understanding of the fundamentals. I do recommend trying this out. Yeah, overall, I had fun doing this and definitely learned a lot. There are 3 other demos that I haven't started yet, but I kind of wanted to do those in a smaller scale so I can kind of focus more on the shapes and also how to work with the paint in general. I was struggling to put paint on the paper. I don't know if it's because I just don't make enough paint for whatever I'm working on, but I was struggling. It could have also been the brushes I was using. I used really cheap watercolor brushes because I was too lazy to wash my own brushes. And yeah, they were not picking up as much paint as I wanted to. So, and yeah, I hope you all have a wonderful day, evening, night, whatever time you're watching this, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!